Hey everybody. I apologize for any squeaking that happens in the back. There they are. Pointing's kind of reversed. She's got a toy back there, and it's making her happy. Number 29 in the Criterion Collection, Picnic at Hanging Rock, directed by Peter Weir, 1975, and it's our first film from Australia. But wait, I can hear you saying, what about Walkabout? That was actually a British. It was made by a British firm, even though it was set in Australia, but it was not made by Australia. The fact that this one is made in Australia is part of why it's even in this collection. It is significant because it is part of what is called the Australian New Wave movement. Now, almost every country's got a New Wave movement, and they all mean different things when it comes to film. In this case, by the 60s, Australia's film industry had essentially ceased to exist. They weren't making movies because it costs money. They didn't have the skills or expertise. And part of that is because American movies are like a plague. there's there's a reason Canada has a thing called Canadian content laws, which state that 11%, I think that's the percentage, forgive me if I have the number wrong, but 11% of all content on TV and in movie theaters must be made by Canadians. And those laws were put up as a way to kind of protect their culture from being completely overrun by American culture. Because, man, we put out media at an unprecedented rate. And so it is not surprising that we flood, especially English-speaking markets, with our content. And Australia realized this was a problem, that they didn't have a film industry, that they didn't have filmmakers, that nobody was representing their history, their culture, their stories, their way of life. None of it was being captured by filmmakers. And so the government actually put in a whole bunch of incentives in place to encourage Australian filmmakers, basically scholarships for them to go through film school, and Picnic at Hanging Rock, and that led to the new wave film movement in Australia, which is basically these first-time filmmakers rediscovering how to make cinema. And Picnic at Hanging Rock is considered one of the prime examples of this that came out during the era. It's not the first one, but it is considered one of the major pieces of this new wave movement. I have talked for quite a while now without talking about the movie itself. Well, and there's a reason for that. I wanted to explain why it was significant, because there's not a lot of meat to the film itself. And I am going to completely spoil the ending, which is not something I normally do, but telling you the ending will determine whether or not you can like this movie. Because I feel like this movie really is going to divide people into two camps, those who like it and those who don't, which sounds like a stupid statement, but I think it's all going to hinge on the ending. So, before I begin describing the plot, spoiler, I am going to spoil the ending of this mystery. But it's not as big a spoiler as you think it is, girls. I'm trying to do a thing. Picnic at Hanging Rock is based off a book. It is set in 1900, and it is the story of like an all-girls school in 1900 that where the teachers take all of these girls on a picnic to Hanging Rock, which is a location in Australia. After having a nice picnic, they all lay down and take a nap in the dirt. Sure. And while they're napping, three girls and hey, can you stop? Three girls and one teacher disappear. And then the rest of the movie is trying to figure out what happened to those girls. Where did they go? You get some scenes at the school of other students and their reactions to these disappearances, the teachers and parents trying to find them, a couple of boys who are unrelated to the whole story but who happen to be at Hanging Rock and like saw the girls for a second become obsessed with trying to find them. This is the bulk of the movie, is trying to figure out what happened. Here's where I'm going to spoil the ending. Last chance to click away. The mystery is not solved. The very last line of the film is, and nobody knows what happened to them to this day. So that's why I said it would be pretty divisive, right? Like, if you can enjoy it, it is a slow burn. It is a character study. It is just about these. It's a snapshot of a moment in these people's lives. The disappearance, while the linchpin of the plot, is not actually important to the overall film because it is unresolved. There are some interesting little tidbits that were fed. There's a thing with red smoke that's not resolved. They find one of the girl and like her corset is missing and they don't know why because she's amnesiac. So would I recommend this movie? It is well made. It's a decent film and it is interesting to watch a culture basically rediscover how to make cinema. If the idea of a mystery without a solution is fine with you, then you will probably enjoy this movie. There were film reviewers when it came out that felt like they wasted 2 hours of their life because there wasn't a resolution to the mystery. And I don't blame them for feeling that way. I can see that. And if you would feel similarly, then no, I don't recommend this movie for you. If, on the other hand, you can just kind of go along for the ride and you don't mind the fact that there is no solution, then yeah, check it out. It's a solidly made movie. It's better than Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, which is funny because this is a movie made by people kind of learning how to make movies again, whereas those two were made by supposedly professional artists, but definitely felt like a sophomore film student's film projects. This feels much more complete and whole and realized, even though it is essentially a learning experience for the people on the set. Anyway, Picnic at Hanging Rock. There's a lot of meat on the bone there about the movie. The movie itself, not a lot to it. So whether or not that's your jam, that's up for you to decide. Next, number 30, a movie I have actually seen before, and it's Fritz Lang's M from Germany, 1931. So I haven't seen this in a very long time. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. And then we'll talk about it. I'll see you next time.